the Stinky Popcorn Boys.
We watch movies and eat popcorn. And you're stinky.
Hello. We are the Stinky Popcorn Boys, just some boys talking about movies and how they made us feel. I am Patrick Basquil with lifelike hair, real eye-watering headaches, insomnia sold separately.
And I am John Gilardi, fully equipped with, almost said sunglasses, fully equipped with glasses, tall height, and comes with a full suite of firearms knowledge. Firearms sold separately.
I
I
thought you were
was
going to say small arms.
I sucked it.
You fucked it up!
I know. I was trying to. I'm bad at this stuff. I'm bad at bits. But we were
today
talking about.
We're gonna talk about the first installment, I guess, of the
G.I. Joe.
the first installment of the lauded action figure turned movie franchise. Franchises with a question mark.
Yeah.
Featuring Brendan Fraser because he knew the director. The director
And Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
And Joseph Gordon-Levitt for some reason. And Dennis Quaid, starring the himbo king Channing Tatum. We're going back to him.
Yep.
Because we love that sweet boy. And Christopher Eccleston as he continued to try and find success after his reign as Doctor Who was the Doctor Who before David Tennant. So everyone forgot about him.
And then Wayans.
Oh, yeah. Damon Wayans. Marlon Wayans? Ooh. Now I got to check.
There's three brothers, right? There's twins, or the twins are the... Are there twins and then an older brother? Or
Oh, man. Rise of Cobra. Which one
my
is
only
it?
experience with the Wayans is Scary Movie, and I don't remember which...
He's the high one in the Scary Movie.
Yeah, and then White Chicks.
White Chicks. I've never seen White Chicks.
I saw it a bunch.
To be completely
in middle
honest.
school. One of my friends was super about it, so it was always on.
Oh my gosh.
But anyway, so we watched G.I. Joe, The Rise of Cobra, I believe?
Rise of Cobra.
And, I mean, I guess the first question that comes to mind is why?
Yeah.
And the answer I have...
Tell us, you know what? You have the answer? You have the answer here in front of
because
you?
you don't know.
I don't know why.
I
don't know why.
I mean, it's related enough.
Marlon Wayans.
Marlon, okay.
Yeah.
It's related enough, but I just started like a hobby channel on the side where I just kind of look at guns in movies and analyze their use and all the uses of them.
Yeah, nice.
And so I did one, the F-2000, which is used in this a lot.
Okay.
And I was watching clips, gathering clips for it. I was like, this movie seems wacky. And then you were asking what should we watch, and I said, let's watch this. It's just...
I thought you were going to tell me why this movie got made and why it was the way that it was.
Oh, no, I was telling you why I thought, let's do this.
I love it.
Why this movie was made, I don't know.
I mean, I understand.
It's a movie about war, but it's a movie for kids, paid by a toy company for kids.
Yeah.
So it makes war cool. There's like lines between Channing Tatum and Marlon Wayans, where they're like just talking about how war's cool and like, man, I don't want to be a fighter pilot. I want to be in the ground fighting war. Like
I like to see it.
I like to see the war.
Yeah, I like to be a part of it. I like
so
feeling it.
Bizarre.
It's like, oh wow, this is definitely about it.
I guess a quick synopsis.
Yeah, quick synopsis. There's nanomites. They eat things, and they were for medical technology, but now they have repurposed them, as often actually happens in the real world, for weapons technology. And Channing Tatum and Marlon Wayans, Duke and Ripcord, they gotta protect it. That gets attacked, and then the secret fighting force, the G.I. Joes, which is just real quick is like it's just G.I. Joes. They didn't come up with like a
new name.
They didn't come up with like an acronym or an anagram or whatever for Joe. Like
they actually have like the enemy group is the Cobra, like whatever. It's stupid, but they have a name. But G.I. Joe is
it's just what it is.
And like the whole, I'll get into that after.
We can because I have a whole lot of things like sort of issues with it or whatever. But it's just like So that's the synopsis. They've got these nanomites. They're in warheads now.
It's pretty much if you've seen any movie with an arms dealer bad guy.
Yeah.
It's that.
But then like
Iron Man 2, basically very similar.
It's kind of like
plot.
Kind of like Iron Man and Iron Man 2, but like the worse version. And then
with some Transformers spice in there.
Definitely some Transformers spice. And I would say, I mean, there's like a very soap opera quality about everything, or like WWE almost, where it's like everybody's backstory connects up with this thing in this moment and these people.
Yeah. I mean, the movie's full of flashbacks and full of montages within the flashbacks and just their own montages in real time. It's a movie, and it's wild, and it's wild the way the Fast and Furious movies are. Those movies are good.
I've actually never seen those movies. I'm saving them for like a day when I'm sick, or like I'm sick for like a week or something like that. Or
well, if you get coronavirus or something,
I guess
maybe we should cover that. I'd be down. I just watched through them, so I don't know if I'd be down to do that soon.
That's okay.
But
or if I ever win an Oscar or something like that, you're like, I'm gonna take a month off and just watch the Fast and the Furious movies.
They're good. It's like anime, basically.
Yeah. Well, that's
ridiculous.
I just love watching the trailers of it.
They have a fight. There's one point where there's a fight between a helicopter piece of shrapnel the size of a sword, and then The Rock. Or no, Jason Statham or someone has like a giant sword made out of helicopter shrapnel.
Hell yeah.
And then Vin Diesel goes to his car and pulls out the biggest fucking wrench you've ever seen in his life. And they have a sword fight on a parking garage.
Oh my God.
With a helicopter piece of shrapnel.
And then I just love hearing about this.
And there's also one where, well, in the trailer for the newest one, John Cena pushes a car, or he takes a car directly. I don't know. I don't know. I love it.
Yeah.
And I think if this had its ability to mature, it might get down there. And I think there's a second one and there's a third one in production.
Oh, there is there?
I believe so.
Oh.
And The Rock's in the next one?
The Rock is in Retaliation.
Yeah. Which for some reason I never saw this. I don't know.
See, I saw this. So this movie came out in 2009. Here's my little history with this movie. Is I was back in high school. I played baseball. I was like, hell yeah, I'm pretty good at baseball. And so I went to you go to baseball camps, basically. Like you're like, oh, I'm gonna go to UNC Asheville's baseball camp to be like, hey, look, I'm good at baseball. You should pick me, especially when you're not like a star player or anything.
Yeah.
It's like how you do shit. So I went to a couple baseball camps with my dad, and we would go. We would watch like shitty movies. After like the second day of the baseball camp, and this was one of the movies. That movie 9, that animated movie.
Oh yeah.
Was another one. They were all really bad. There was
you got to do bad movies at baseball camp. I
guess.
Well,
they were also in places like it was Asheville. It was where else did we go? We went to Nashville.
All the Asheville's.
Yeah, I went to all the Asheville's, Trashville. But there were a couple, and it was just like. They just happened to have we either went to the worst theater and there was only 4 movies playing, and so that's just what we did. It wasn't about them being good movies.
Yeah, and I think this movie has its place, and I think we'll get into that. It doesn't mean it's good.
It doesn't mean it's good, but it is like.
This is my whole thing, and have you seen The Toys That Made Us on Netflix?
I haven't.
It's actually really good. It goes through generational toys and their history and stuff. Mm-hmm. Like G.I. Joe, TMNT, Barbie even, Hello Kitty. It's really interesting. I highly recommend it. I think Star Wars toys.
Yeah.
And I've seen it. It's been too long. But for me personally, I like G.I. Joes. I had G.I. Joes, and I always thought they were cool. I kind of had more of the World War II, Vietnam era guys, and Desert Storm, the kind of grounded stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I got out of it before they started doing the Cobra stuff, but it never appealed to me, this weird high tech military stuff.
Yeah,
because it's super. Even as a kid, I thought it was they're really trying hard to market to me, a young boy. They're trying to be this is cool, and it's worked.
Here, buy all these things.
Yeah,
buy all these things, friend. Look, you need them. Look,
There's submarine boats that are crazy and cool, maneuverable. And then play with it in the bathtub or
play
something.
with it in the bathtub. And also, you can get a bigger one that it fits into. And also, you can get a smaller one that goes inside of it. But it doesn't come in this one. You have to purchase them separately.
And here's this future Scuba Steve G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
So that's why it's so bizarre, because obviously G.I. Joe was Barbies for little boys and with guns and soldiers. And that was, I guess that was cool at the time. But they had to change, sales dipped.
Yeah.
And so they made it this weird sci-fi stuff. And the G.I. Joe, GI is so synonymous with 40s and 60s U.S. soldiers. And so when you now have these modern NATO alliance special ops unit.
Yeah.
But they're called G.I. Joes. Why does that happen? They don't even explain the origin. It could have been a simple the Strategic Office of Strategic Services from World War II, the Special Forces from World War II. Those G.I. Joes, they started their own their own group. I don't know. Just give a throwaway line.
Yeah.
But to me, it just feels so bizarre that the secret organization exists and they're called G.I. Joes.
Yeah. No, I mean, especially because I'm all for the intersectionality of stuff and the globalization. I'm not an anti-globalist or whatever.
I think it's a cool concept.
I think it's cool, and I think it also just works that way. You can not have it be American centric, because again, G.I. Joe is very much like it was very much sort of like low-key propaganda for like little boys.
Yeah.
Just like a little bit. It could be like soft propaganda, you could say.
Which I feel like this ends up being.
It does, but the thing I think that bothers me, I guess, not bothers me per se, but it's just like it's not focused. It's just kind of like war's good, maybe. I think that maybe war's. It's not like, hey, join the Air Force.
You're just watching this and you're like, I think I like war.
Is war cool? Do I?
Well, that's essentially what, like having just kind of grounded GIs and their camo and their Thompson submachine gun or whatever, their Tommy gun, so a boy can go in the woods and kind of
Here I am.
play around. That's that's one thing, but then when you make it all future and you're trying to revitalize sales, you make these things cool, and in essence you're making war and all that cool.
But then there's like the blending of it, of like the actual weaponry and the actual likeness of war, and then you're making it so that it's like you're kind of blending the line between reality and
the thing is, like, without commenting on war being cool, like gear and weapons and cool vehicles, they're already cool.
Yeah.
So it's like they're making the act of fighting cool, I think, is what they're trying to.
I guess.
I don't know.
I don't know.
It's a weird thing.
I think that's why it falls flat, is because it's not like, hell yeah, this is all about killing and doing bad stuff. Or not bad stuff.
Yeah.
But protecting the nation or whatever, or the whole world. But it just is like, hey, look, maybe there's a message, but also, fuck yeah, man, fuck yeah, being in the armed forces or something. But it feels really muddled. Like, again, I'm not saying that this is a message movie by any sort of means, but it's just like, I
think that's why it feels weird. Because anything that deals with war and soldiers and agencies, even, or political thrillers, they have a message, but this doesn't. And it works with the Transformers, and I think Transformers, I mean, I'm not an expert, I haven't seen it in a while, but I feel like it has more of a message.
It's just well, listen, man.
Just because it's a power struggle in a war over centuries, but this doesn't have that.
No, but because it's the same thing as like Optimus Prime, he gives some fucking speeches because he's always like, we're not here to fight, we are here to defend. Destruction is not our way, or what? Like that's his whole. That's the whole.
He's
thing.
Literally doing speeches on the themes,
and it takes up so much of the movie. It's either that or it just give me a headache.
Or it's just stupid jokes with his family.
Yeah,
with the Shia LaBeouf's family.
But it's also like, but it is like that is very much like I watched I finished watching. Skipping ahead here, I guess, but I finished watching Batman versus Superman. I've been watching that in like 15-minute chunks. Just because it's so long, and it's just so not very good. I don't like it, but I'm also like, whatever. Like, I'll watch it like a chapter at a time, essentially. And I finished it, and I was like, man, I didn't like that movie anyway. But I started watching the beginning of A Man of Steel, and one, I don't like the direction, and I know we're going all over the place here, but I promise this will tie back up. But it's like, for Man of Steel, it's really cool because he's like, yo, our planet is dying, and then they make Zod this like guy who's like agrees with him. It's just really complex where he's like agrees with him, but they're going about it in different ways. And also in that movie, I absolutely hate the way that they have things designed, like for Krypton, like the weird, like the weird mech suit that they have, just the way that everything looks.
I'll just say I fucking hate mech suits most of the time. And I'd really like when they bring it into this, like, to me that's not cool.
I don't know why.
It does nothing for me. The mechs, the exoskeleton stuff.
I don't love it.
I like it when it's like Master Chief and like
Iron Man.
Iron Man's cool. I mean, the Halo universe in general just does armor really well.
Mm-hmm.
Gears of War even kind of.
But that's sort of my other thing too with this is that, it doesn't have that sort of like like complexity to it that would make it fun. It also doesn't lean into being a kids movie, which would be fun. I think it doesn't.
I think it has an identity crisis.
Yeah, and I think too, like I really dislike the like aesthetic and like the style that they chose with everything, because I think it would have been much more fun if instead of updating it and having it be like set in 2009 and having to have 2009 type stuff, like it would be so much cooler if it was like 1985 and it was like campy and like it was kind of James Bondy with stuff.
See,
a
that
little
would
bit
have been
more.
cool.
I think that would have been fun.
Like A-Team kind of.
Yeah, like A-Team. But again, even in I haven't seen the movie A-Team, but again, just like very much making it a movie that's made in 2009 so you can do all the fun stuff, but making it like a movie that's set in 1985 where it's like you kind of could even throw a little film grain on it, do some cool guy stuff with that.
Or play around with fun, like advertising, cheesy advertising somewhere in there, like that aesthetic.
Like just really lean into it and like be like what it is. And I don't know, because this weird middle ground of like the future, it just doesn't have a production design.
What's weird
that I attach to.
It introduces you to a world like with the wheels running. You know, these two soldiers get picked off of a failed mission,
which I think is I like it. Just like hit the ground running. Let's go, baby.
Well, I like that, but I think they get into this world and it's like, yeah, we have the secret underworld of special forces, and like the wheels are returning. Like it kind of hits you fast when they get to the bunker.
Yeah,
but it feels like you're being shown that, I guess, rather than it happening.
Yeah,
because they're going down the elevator, and everyone's just fucking training everywhere, training in each little area. Like every fucking corner of this building is being maximized for training. It's like, what is going on?
Look, we got all this stuff. We're showing you that we got this stuff.
Basically, and even there's a part where Marlon Wayans is doing this training with the F-2000 thing that I do the video on. Hopefully coming out soon.
Hell yeah!
But
check for that soon. We're gonna watch that drop.
He's just shooting everywhere.
Yeah,
and I think they're giving off like these guys are such badasses that like we trust them to be safe. But
they're just firing indoors with a bunch of people right nearby. Yeah. Nobody's wearing any ear protection either. But it's like
But that's why it feels weird, is that it's.
But also
it's so casual and not witty, but that kind of vibe of like it feels very smart. Like it thinks it's very smart. The way it goes about it.
It's almost there too in a lot of ways, but again, like to me, like the aesthetic of stuff.
I think that thing would have worked. That like everyone's trading in every single corner of the building and everything's going on at once. If it was a more cheesy vibe,
I think if they like leaned into it, it made it like Kung Fury or something like that. Have you ever seen Kung Fury?
Yeah.
Not completely go that way because that's like absolutely off the rails batshit, and I love it. But it's like, if you could kind of find a way to do that, I think, that would probably appeal more to kids. But if they just, like, the color tone that they have throughout this whole movie is so dark.
Golds and blues.
Golds and blues and darks and shadows and stuff. And it's just, like, it's just absolutely swallows everything that can make it feel, like, comic booky and fun. And it's just so flat. Everything is just so flat. Like, even the inside of this, like, we're watching the movie right now, and we're inside the McLagan's submarine, and it's just so flat and looks. I feel like it should look more fake. Like they should make it look more fake because it's so close to look. It's like such bad, almost CGI that they should just be like, "Fuck it, let's just go for it."
Yeah,
you know.
I think this was probably at a time when the CGI was still new enough.
Yeah.
Where the self-awareness wasn't there.
Yeah.
Or they thought at the time, it probably looked pretty damn good, honestly. But it quickly ages out.
Yeah. So. But it's interesting, too, because the director of this movie, and the reason that Brendan Fraser's in this movie, is the director of The Mummy and The Mummy Returns. Yeah. And those movies stand up to me. Like, again, the CGI is not great, but in terms of, like, the pacing, the dialogue, how things feel, like, that stands up. Those movies are still fun as shit.
Yeah.
You know, because it's tongue-in-cheek, but it's also got a heart. And I feel like that's what I wanted and would expect if I hired that director for this. I'd be like, yo, give me that kind of shit again.
Yeah.
You know, but I feel like I feel like there was probably pushback, and why it's kind of got, like, this mistaken identity where it's like, he's like, all right,
And again, maybe he's a brilliant, awesome dude, and he's like, yo, let me go like full tilt into like pointing out the fact that this is like propaganda. I'm not gonna be like bashing it, but it's like this is propaganda. This is to sell toys, and they keep getting like, oh my, like if they keep having gear up sequences, and they're like, hey, why do we keep getting so much new gear?
Yeah,
I haven't gotten used to this old gear yet.
Which they kind of have, but it's trying to be cool about it.
Yeah. It does. I think maybe that's it. Is like this movie is trying to be cool about all of its stuff, and it's not.
Which probably came from the producers or Hasbro, I would say.
Yeah.
Just judging from what you said, that the director has shown good self-awareness and funness with
like that's the whole thing with
what's it called?
The Mummy.
Yeah.
Where it's like The Mummy is like, yeah, this is like kind of an Indiana Jones like, but it's also kind of poking fun at Indiana Jones, but also kind of poking fun at like the Mummy stuff, but not really. Like it never goes too far. I don't know. We could talk about how The Mummy is really fun and
I'd be down
good
to watch
too.
those too.
I fucking love those.
Yeah. How about maybe we stagger this?
We'll watch The Mummy next,
and then we watch Retaliation.
Hell fucking yeah! Hell fucking yeah!
Every movie we watch has to have a person from the last movie or something.
Hey, maybe that's a new rule or something like that. We kind of do like a 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon. It's like, how the fuck they end up here?
Because now we're on Channing Tatum, technically.
And then we could go to Brendan Fraser because technically Brendan Fraser's in this
We could
movie.
watch the movie where Gordon-Levitt jerks off all the time.
Oh yeah,
What's that?
Don John.
Don John, yeah.
He directed and wrote that movie too.
Yeah. So I want to speak about the Joseph Gordon-Levitt storyline. If you,
oh man, please
That's a
go
lot.
for it, dude.
So we have this bad guy with the mask. He's like a mad scientist. He's kind of like creating this nano thing that creates these super soldiers. I don't know, bad guy shit.
He's like very clearly also the brains of the operation behind the Christopher Eccleston Scottish character. But it's like,
but he looks like a Darth Vader without the top of his helmet, basically, and not like a monocle.
Yeah, he definitely kind of looks like an early version of Darth Vader.
Yeah, like Darth Vader and Professor Snape had a kid, I guess, is essentially this character.
Except if Professor Snape's was a bad hairpiece.
Yeah. So anyways, that we come to learn that is Joseph Gordon-Levitt. And only reason we see Joseph Gordon-Levitt as like this young, I think like lieutenant or something that...
He's a science officer.
Yeah, that Channing Tatum is like escorting, and we find that he dies in an explosion. And Channing Tatum is, of course, dating... His sister, and that ruins the relationship.
And the one thing that she's like, I'll marry you, but the one thing you have to promise me is you have to take care of my brother.
Yeah, out in the battlefield. And long story short, he dies, the relationship goes sour, and then
he actually gets a sweet scar, though.
Yeah, but he doesn't die. He gets locked into... He finds cool stuff in this lab, and he partners up with this other mad scientist.
Ooh! I got the Dr. Mindbender.
Yeah, Dr. Mindbender.
With Dr. Mindbender's new technology.
He gets mutilated and then becomes this mad scientist, and his sister is grieving his death. This is good. He goes to her, and he takes her over her.
He puts nanomites in her
to control her, to save her from grief that he died. Instead of like being like, yo sis, I'm not actually dead.
I'm not dead. I'm just having a bad time.
But he rescued her from grief by mind controlling her to become this deadly, terrible person committing all these crimes against humanity.
It's just WWE stuff, though.
Yeah, it is. And then the fact that, because you see Joseph Gordon-Levitt, obviously in hindsight, it's like, yeah, they were setting up this twist. I should have seen it coming. There's only so many players on the board.
Yeah.
But I was like, what the fuck? That's Joseph Gordon-Levitt?
Yeah.
He's like, it was more so like, that man agreed to do this?
Yeah.
He like rips the mask off, and it's like a weird, like burned up, scarred, bald Joseph Gordon-Levitt like cackling and making weird faces, and it's just so bizarre.
Which is probably fun for him, but it's also like, I don't know. It's just like, why would you do this?
I mean, I get Channing Tatum because I think he was transitioning as an actor. Like, this was when he was like...
This is when people were like, hey, is he a star maybe?
Yeah.
Is he maybe going to be a star? And he did a bunch of like where he was in war movies, right? He's a good... I'll tell you what. He plays a good soldier.
Yeah.
And I know this sounds like a weird thing, but it's even in the opening little sequence that we have where he's like...
if he gets like... Because he's got good enough weapons handling... But if he got some really good like John Wick level stuff,
Mm-hmm.
I think he could be really good.
See, but he's comedic though too. Like
Yeah.
he plays the balance between like the smart ass like comedic guy
Yeah.
and the guy who's like no nonsense. And in this movie, he kind of like rides that line where he's like a little he makes a little jokes and makes little quips
Yeah.
and stuff.
He's not a bad character. He's not a great character.
No, he's
I
not.
think that all just comes down to Channing Tatum working with what he had.
Yeah. And I think that he does it I think that he does a good job. I think that Channing Tatum does a pretty good job in what he does. Have you ever seen Foxcatcher?
No, I
Yeah,
have it. I just need to
Foxcatcher
watch
goes
it.
hard, dude.
I want to watch that.
Foxcatcher goes fucking hard.
Well, he always does this thing in his kind of comedic roles where he's like he's like begging someone like, can you just do this for me right now?
Yeah.
Like at gunpoint or whatever. Like it's in 21 and 22 Jump Street
Yeah.
for sure, and it's in this, and I know it's probably in White House Down.
He plays softness really well.
Yeah.
Like he plays softness the same way that I was talking
The
about
soft
how
jock.
Yeah, the same way that I was talking about how Gerard Butler plays like cold brutality really well, where he's
Yeah.
just like, this is just what I have to do. I'm being nice about it, but I do have a knife through your knee right now. And Channing Tatum does like the same thing where he's like, I just don't want to hit you, and then proceeds to beat the shit out of you, and then like be like, oh, this pudding's really good.
Yeah. I feel like he hasn't. I want to see him in more things. I'd really like him. He was definitely like I just for some reason when he was first starting off and I was like I don't want to see this guy and stuff.
Yeah.
And then he quickly won me over, and I really like him in the comedic role and
Yeah.
in the serious dramatic role.
Yeah.
Same thing with like Mark Wahlberg in comedy. Took me a while to warm up. Like when I saw The Other Guys was my first experience of comedy.
Mark
Mark
Wahlberg is great in the other guy.
I was like, I just didn't get it, and that was probably due to my age. but it ages so.
Peacock.
Yeah, it just ages so well.
Peacocks don't fly.
Yeah.
But what was listen, it's just I don't understand
batshit
why
crazy movie.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt is in this movie, and I guess because I guess the thing is
Does that mean he's in the next one? They are lucky that he's masked up, so they could hire anyone.
Yeah, well, that's
by
what
the
I'm
end.
saying. It's like, why would he agree to do this? Where unless he's maybe he's friends with the director, or he like loves hanging out with Channing Tatum or whatever, or something like that. And Channing's like, hey, dude, you want to play this like bad guy for like a second?
Yeah.
In a little bit? Because essentially, he could have not said any of the lines for like the Cobra commander when he's like masked up as the mad scientist.
Yeah.
He could have not said any of those lines, and he might not have,
Yeah.
because it's like that's we don't see his mouth.
I mean, he could have just come on set for a few days.
Yeah, for a few days, done his thing, and then like they're
That's
like,
what Brendan Fraser definitely did.
oh, Brendan Fraser was definitely there for like one day, and I read a little thing that he was like, I think that the director had wanted him to play a character in the G.I. Joe universe or something like that, in like later movies or something, but Hasbro didn't have the rights to that character, which is like
could be like a Marvel Spider-Man thing.
Yeah, something like that.
Only we're comparing Marvel to the G.I. Joe universe.
So then he became like a knockoff of two separate characters. Because I was looking this up, I was like, why the fuck is Brendan Fraser in this movie for like a scene, and he doesn't do anything?
Yeah.
He comes in during their like training
He's in a
montage.
montage.
He comes in during their training montage and is like, "You're gonna fight again?" He has like 3 lines.
Also, sorry,
No, and it's just like, what? What are we doing?
Well, then, so during that training montage, they make this whole thing that Marlon Wayans' character.
Here he is. There's Brendan
Ripcord,
Fraser showing up, baby.
is a pilot. Pilot this, pilot that. I got my pilot stuff. And
Yeah.
during the montage, they don't show him doing any pilot stuff. Yet we see Channing Tatum. It's a submarine, but he's piloting like it's a plane.
Yeah.
During the montage, and like Wayne's whole focus or Ripcord's whole focus on the montage is like shooting.
Yeah.
It's just a weird montage.
Yeah. It's an interesting. It's interesting. It's definitely.
It's definitely a movie.
It's definitely a movie. It's definitely the montage is definitely there to be like, hey, listen. They're training. They're definitely part of it, and they understand stuff that's going on here at this base, and they're part of the team. Okay. Hey. When they're just doing missions later, remember this montage because they're a part of the team.
Well,
I don't want you to forget that they're a part of the team. They did the montage.
there's barely any like gunfighting for Marlon Wayans and Channing
You're fucking
Tatum.
right.
After
I didn't
that.
even notice that.
So that
I didn't even think about it.
So why is that in the fight montage? And the hand-to-hand combat's kind of there, and the submarine stuff's there.
Yo, what does Channing Tatum do? He just kind of runs places.
Yeah, he
runs places.
They defend the base after it gets attacked by the Cobra people, and then in Paris, France, he's basically just chasing after
He's
the
in the
thing,
exosuit, which is
and they
just
fail,
SFX.
and then he gets captured.
Yeah.
And then in the base, he puts the tracker so they can find the base.
Yo, and they got that exosuit because he jumped in there with the exosuit.
Yeah, so he's got that technology, and that's definitely still there.
I was thinking about this when I was watching. I was like, yo, if that exosuit loses power or whatever, that shit's heavy as fuck.
Probably crush you.
It would probably crush you, and also, well, I mean, maybe not crush you, but it's like, this is 120 pounds, and it's also like probably got like hydraulic stuff. So when it loses power, like, and it's like you're essentially like caught in it.
Yeah.
Like you're like Freddy Fazbear's. You're caught in a little animatronic thing till it comes back up.
In the Halo novels that I read as a young kid,
I love it.
Big nerd. The suits, the Mjolnir suits, which are mech suits, you needed to be these augmented people to wear them, or else it would crush you.
Yeah.
And move it. And I mean, it's a little different, but I think that would hold true if like the power of the suit just gave away. You would just have your human strength.
Yeah.
And
well, that's what always not necessarily bothered me about the Iron Man stuff was like whenever he put other people in the suits.
Yeah.
But they were pretty good about that, I'd say, about his technology and him not giving it away or people having to steal it and then modify it in order to get in it.
Well, and then every suit has AI that's managing it too. So you can always have that it's assisting.
But this was,
and they also have this like crazy power core. So
also,
like, the power source is never really a thing of question.
If this was in the Paris chase sequence, when the redheaded girl was like,
who's such a bad trope of a character.
Yeah, I mean that's its own thing. I had that, and we're doing the fight sequence in here. It's like, yeah, the ladies got to fight each other because you can't have one of your heroes hit a woman, even though she's a bad guy right now,
with some cool shades.
Yeah, she's fucking doing some they're doing some cool stuff. Anyway, that's its own thing. That's its own trope where you got to have a woman on the team so she can fight the bad girl woman. But she does a lot more than that too. But it's just like, again, it's 2009. It's a disservice to fucking cool women characters.
Well, it's fun to see the change in it too.
Yeah.
I would say Marvel leading the way too, and doing it in different ways in terms of like blockbuster mainstream media.
I will say I like Ripcord's story more than I like Duke's story. This man loves taking his helmet off too. We just watched the thing, and that motherfucker keeps taking his helmet off, almost like his brain is not the most important thing on his body.
He's a stud.
He's a stud. He's that good. He's that good himbo sexy man. But what was I gonna say? I was gonna say something. Oh, I like Ripcord's story. Like even the sort of like weird put on flirtatious relationship that he has and like that sort of character is like definitely like
it's
another
charming
it's
enough.
another trope, but like the fact that he's actually like, hey, listen, like the fact that he's not a sleazeball about it after she's like, nah, dude, back off. He's like, hey, okay, we can just work together.
Yeah.
And then I do like that, but also just his story of him taking the like his little thing where he blows up the nanomites and they fall back onto his plane and he takes it up there. I'm like, hell yeah, work of sacrifice right there, baby. That's some cool shit.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I think during the end, his whole storyline in the jet was the most interesting to me.
Yeah.
And the rest, I was like, all right, let's move on with it.
He actually had a lot more. He had a lot more in this movie than I remember from, because when I rewatched it, but when I watched it the first time, I was like, oh my gosh, what a drag. What a drag this, like, why is this guy in here? Just to do like little jokes and stuff? But I think it's upon like rereading it, I appreciate it a lot more. I think I would almost prefer it if Duke and this whole like other thing, like if he was just kind of like fish out of water in this like, whoa, underground secret thing, I would probably have enjoyed that a lot more if it was just that without the like WWE soap opera stuff. Like, I just think it's pretty fun.
because he's not a sleazeball, you know. He's a kind of a trope where he's like, I got to hit on the girl.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it feels like the classic, like, there's a hot girl. I'm a cool guy with some cool charisma.
Yeah.
It's like, it's an obligation. Like, I'm going to go over there and talk to her.
Yeah.
And so it definitely feels very
and talk to her in a way that's like, hey, I'm a sexy guy, you're a sexy lady, we should be sexy together.
Basically.
Instead of like him being like, hey, what's up? What's that book about? Oh, tell me. Okay. It's very much, he's just like, I'm interested in you, you're interested in me.
And he does a good job as the character, tying it around to like her being rigid and like her dad saying, I guess.
Yeah.
And I think that was a nice touching way to like humanize
that character.
Yeah, like he listens to her or whatever. And her story
But I think they could have,
how she sees the world. He sees it through her eyes because he wants to be sympathetic. And, and win her love and trust, I guess. It's actually pretty elaborate in a small little way.
One of the other things that I'll say as we're coming into this to the invasion of the little thing. Of the pit, if you will. One of the things that happened consistently throughout this whole movie that I hated and also loved is anytime that there's a plan, they figure it out. Like, they're like, where are they going? They're taking it deeper into the city. Why are they driving through traffic? They must be aiming for something. And they're like, what is it? What is the thing? And immediately they're like, it's the Eiffel Tower. We got to go there. And then all of a sudden, there's a couple other places where they're just like, oh, he's probably got it voice activated. And it's like, why would you think that? Yeah. Why would you think that? And why is it right?
And then it's like, and he tries all the things, and she's like, oh, he's Scottish. Try Celtic. Try fire for Celtic. And he's like, Octane or whatever
Tahane.
it is. Tahane. It's just, I don't know.
But it's just, that's just one of those things where it's like, it's just like, why is this? Why, like, they know, it takes them, they're like, why is this happening? Oh, this is why it's happening. And they've got to figure it out. Like, when he's like, oh, I bet you McClangan, whatever his name is, he probably activated the code. Yeah. It's like, why would you think that? Wait, hold on. Why would you think that? Why in your experience of what you've had, would you think that he is the mole guy? Why would you think that? You wouldn't.
There's no rhyme or reason to some of this.
So that's one of the things that kind of like is like it comes up over and over again where they're like, oh, this is the thing, and we figured it out, so that they don't have to like go through any loops. They're just all rolling real high in perception.
I think that's why it becomes. Yeah, exactly. I think that's where the kids movie feel comes from it. Yeah. But it contrasts like the death and the
well, again, where the master disguise just murdered the girl, and
which that girl's acting the blonde corporal aide to
Dennis Quaid.
Dennis Quaid.
Captain Hawk, General Hawk.
Yeah, her acting was like porn star level.
I mean,
I don't want to like it. It was weird. I guess, and it could have worked if everyone else was on board with the cheesy 80s stuff. I guess, but it was really jarring there.
Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing is like in one of my notes that is on this like invasion of the place. In this invasion of the place, they don't have like breach sensors. They don't have anything.
Well, and like, why is no one rallied?
Yeah, no one's
mustered.
They burst through the walls of the place, and there was nobody in this little hangar area. After when we got to the hangar area originally, there were fucking so many people there.
Yeah,
like
it doesn't show this scene well. And to reiterate, it's the bad guys breaking into the super base,
the pit,
and there's like 10 of them max. And you see them taking out G.I. Joes here and there in groups. Like 3 G.I. Joes will turn the corner, and then, oh no, door closes. Little, like not even like a lockdown door, just like a small ass door.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh
God, there's no way for us to get through there.
Yeah. I mean, if this movie was like,
oh, this isn't our base. How are we supposed to get around?
Like, say this movie was a big deal, and like in the zeitgeist and people loved it. It was popular, and then 30 years later, a Robot Chicken series was made about it.
Yeah.
That would be a bit in it. Is
Yeah.
that, like,
but it's not big enough for anybody to care.
no, I mean that's what's so funny about Star Wars. It's so loved by so many people that everything about it
Yeah.
can, like, a joke can be put
You
out.
you can blow anything up and take it.
I mean the prequel memes. Point blank.
Fantastic. What is how is the how do you think the tactics in this are as we're doing 2 war movies?
I mean there are none. It's just gear.
Okay.
Gear and the gimmicks around the gear. I mean the weapons handling is mostly good.
Okay.
But you definitely have like the you have the whenever people have rifles or something or pistols, they dip the gun when they're switching side to side.
Okay.
Which is you don't need to
don't
do that because that's just wasted energy.
Oh yeah.
And typically, if you're your operator or whatever, you're badass, you're trained. You don't need to do that because you already have both eyes open. You can see everything. You don't need to clear it by dropping your gun 3 inches. And I think that's the biggest thing. You see that in movies all the time. And if it's a director's choice because it looks cool or makes something look a little bit more tactical, then sure.
But why would you do that?
Why would you drop it?
Yeah. Why? Well, yeah. Why would you dip it? Like you're talking about is not actually a good way because it's wasted energy.
I think it's just something seen in movies. Maybe it was doctrine in the 40s.
Is it to like
50s.
move forward? Is like do you move forward a little bit more? You drop your gun.
I mean,
do you move better or something?
If you're clearing a door, you have to lower your gun so you can, so you don't have it hit the doorway or whatever.
Okay.
But there are other ways where you literally are holding it forward still, but you put it above your shoulder and bring it in.
Okay, yeah, you passed. I had the little thing up here, John, and all the cool guy gun boys say, "Good job, you got it."
That's the thing is it doesn't matter though because like, so the gun you have all the action, fist fighting, sword fighting, and then you have the GI Joe red shirts come in and they're just walking, shooting, and then they get blasted away. And that's the extent of the gunplay in this.
Yeah,
because it really comes down to the close quarters.
That's the thing is like
fighting.
For sword fighting or fist fighting, that's one of the things that I and now that we're thinking about it and watching it again is like, for a movie that's like, hey, this is like the war stuff.
It's a lot of like
there's a lot
vehicles shooting rockets and
punches and
swords. Yeah.
Also, I don't know. I have long hair. And I don't know if I was a lady or if I was going into battle. For me, I would have my hair tied up. I would have my hair tied up, probably in a hat. I'd have it far back because I know that my hair gets in my eyes a lot.
It can also get grabbed.
It could also get grabbed by my hair. There's a lot of different things that could happen, but I
mean,
know that I wouldn't wear my hair down.
I mean, I guess we're losing. It's hard because like comic book movies, you default like it's a comic book movie, but this is based off of toys, so you think you'd have the default like, well, it's based off of toys, but that's such an unnatural like excuse you give it,
and that's
it doesn't happen that often.
And that's all right. So let's because I think that a lot of this could be deemed as unfair because this is a GI Joe movie. It is supposed to be over the top and fun and silly. Is this movie fun?
It's wild.
What does that mean? It's fun. Would you? All right. So if this movie is on, you're hungover, or it's like Sunday morning, like it's like.
This is.
Would you put this movie on, or if this movie was on TV and you were like at your parents' house for holidays and you're like, oh, I'll accidentally watch this movie. Would you continue to watch it if it was like halfway through it?
No, I think it's I want to do something I need to focus on, but I also want something else on the background, and I don't really want to pay attention. That's what this is.
Okay.
Because I think that's a lot less of a commitment than casually running into it, not having anything else to do and watching it on TV. Because oh well. Which I'll be honest, that's what it was for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I was fairly familiar for scrubbing through it for clips for my thing, but
like actually watching it and seeing like how the stuff works in context is a lot different than being like, oh, here's my little gun clip and stuff.
Yeah.
I apologize for saying my little gun clip. It's just
very good. I mean, I watched because of the gun in question. I watched the training montage sequence. I pretty much watched the last 45 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
So I was familiar enough with that.
It's just, I think that this movie
it falls short of like a lot of the other sort of like.
You just need to be more self-aware.
I don't even know. It just not. It doesn't hit fun. Like all these flashback sequences, all the different various. It just. Well, it doesn't the confusing nature of stuff and like the.
Usually I don't know. Like I feel like a flashback.
Flashbacks. Listen,
should be. I'm not a big fan of them. I think it works in a fan servicey way.
Yeah.
But in terms of like telling crucial story bits, I think it's dumb.
Yeah.
And it's so weird because you have you have 3 or 4 different stories being told in flashbacks.
Yeah. Which is
throughout
way
the movie,
too many.
You know, and I feel like if you have, you know, that's too many, period. But if you're gonna do that, at least do them at one time. Like like do the brothers at once. But but they do it like in 5 different flashback segments just sprinkled in the film.
That's literally what I was just going to say is like, yo, what if we just, instead of
and
this,
I didn't learn anything from it. They like, one kid was like came from the streets and was a thief. And then the other one.
Can also do mad flips, dude.
Yeah, and the other one was like the student, and he got jealous that the master gave him approval, and so then he killed the master.
Yeah.
and that's their separate. And does it even go into why the Snake Eyes is disformed? And
is he disformed?
Well, he wears the suit, so I figured he maybe had an issue with how he looked.
I figured, I don't know. My main question is, why does he have lips?
Yeah.
Why does his mask have lips? He looks like a Power Ranger to me.
Well, to me, that's made me think, okay, he's got like crazy burns or something.
Yeah.
Which is like it made me think of
Black Noir.
Yeah. Which his whole thing is that he's got, you know, he's got burns, or even Deadpool, you know.
Yeah.
He's got like nuclear burns or something, whatever. I don't know.
He's got like cancer burns. He's got like cancer stuff. Like the treatment that he did in order to get his mutation was like disformed, fucked his skin all up.
Yeah.
And maybe he has burns too.
I mean, I don't know at the time in 2009, but definitely here in 2021, we're definitely trained to think that.
Yeah. I just think too, it's like, it's not interesting enough to look at.
Also, the final fight between Snake Eyes and
I don't
even remember the other character, the white ninja.
Oh, Storm Shadow.
Yeah, Storm Shadow. It isn't even good. Like, Snake Eyes just beats the shit out of Storm Shadow and kicks him into the ice. And that's it. Like, he fucking fucks him. Like, he beats
him up real good.
And it wasn't like the Clegane Bowl. You know, it was kind of similar, building up to that. Like, it was clearly building up to these two fighting each other. And all it was Snake Eyes beating the shit out of him.
Yeah.
And, like, he's just cut up with, like, huge gashes. Like, he takes his shirt off, and he has pretty serious wounds.
Yeah. He's got, and they're deep in there, too.
But, like, the Clegane Bowl is, like, a slugfest, and neither win. Or, I mean, season 8 or whatever it is was also dumpster fire. So I hate to actually refer to that as a good thing.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I also am comparing it to G.I. Joe, so.
Yeah. I think if you compare the fight between the Clegane Bowl, oh my gosh, fucking the Hound and the Mountain.
Yeah.
If them fighting versus Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes is it's so much better. And especially after that season that is not very good.
No.
You know.
It's honestly something to talk about too one day.
Yeah.
Speaking of Game of Thrones, the High Sparrow is the presidency, so he
yeah.
I like my headcanon. I like to think that, like, oh man, he got into the presidency.
Like, he also came back to life after being Keira Knightley's dad in the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Who was it you, or is this someone else on another movie podcast that likes to like try to connect the same actor in different roles? As if it was the same character and how they connect.
I do like to do that. I don't know if I would say that that's like a thing that I actively do a lot. But I definitely
not known for that.
But I don't know if I would say that I'm known for that or if I've talked about it here, but it's like, it is fun to think about, like, if this Channing Tatum became the dog Channing Tatum in Jupiter Ascending. You know, like if he died and his soul became the Jupiter Ascending.
And he was also the Secret Service guy.
Yeah.
But he was also a stripper in his past life.
Yeah.
But then the apocalypse happens and he becomes Danny McBride's bitch.
Yeah. And he also becomes a superstar at that point because he's Channing Tatum.
Yeah.
It's just.
But he also he wrestled in high school.
He also wrestled in high school and was in the Olympics. And Steve Carell shot his brother.
Oh shit.
Oh, sorry, bud.
No. Is that a big spoiler?
No, I fucked it up. I mean, it's also public knowledge. That's like.
Yeah, I mean,
I think one of the things for me was like I knew that. Talking about Foxcatcher now.
Yeah,
and
so you want to see it, Patrick ruin that for you?
I didn't ruin it because it's like literally public knowledge. Like it's what happened for real. Oh, fuck. I fucked it up. I fucked it up for everybody. I apologize. This is it. I'm leaving, guys. Bye.
I think one thing I've noticed in terms of the aesthetic that like feels weird is the camo.
Yeah.
The battle dress uniforms, whatever, the BDUs.
Flashback. Here we go, bud.
Oh yeah, another flashback.
But the digital camo.
Like in real life, those things suck. Like they look bad, and everyone hates them, and they're already they've been phased out. The digicam and like how the Navy wore blue uniforms, and so I mean, obviously this is contemporary, but they took that as if, and they I don't know. It looks bad. It always looked bad.
Yeah.
And they lean into it because it's like future and whatnot.
Yeah.
And like even just this, so that in this flashback, it's just dudes wearing khaki.
Looks like they're just wearing khaki.
They're just wearing khaki with some black like chest rigs and accessories, and like that looks better. That looks cool to me, in a sense. But like all the weird digicamo stuff, it looks stupid, and it kind of messes with the aesthetic of.
I just really don't like.
I don't know.
I just really don't like the aesthetic of this movie at all. I think that's one of the reasons to me that it's not fun. Is because
I think that's a huge factor.
Is because that's the thing is like if something is looking cool and is stupid, like
it's a good example.
I
mean, Fast and Furious. If you've seen that,
Fast and the Furious. I mean, even the first Transformers movie.
Yeah.
You know, that's like this is stupid and this is out of it. I mean, a lot of it is grounded by Shia LaBeouf being funny, you know, and being young Shia LaBeouf. But it's also like it looks aesthetically pleasing. Later on in the series, I'm talking specifically about the first one.
It also has something cool to offer with the transformation itself.
Yeah.
Like, that's cool.
And they shoot it with the respect that it deserves,
yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah, they linger on it. It's almost like a rite of passage, or like it's like an important moment.
Yeah.
In this, there's nothing cool from the G.I. Joe universe that is shown. You know, you have like cool tech and cool gear and cool vehicles, but it's not cool seeing it.
No. Well, and it also doesn't have... Nothing has any sort of character to it. Like, the bad guys, like, sonic weaponry and stuff, they're not like...
That's not interesting.
They're not interesting. They're not shown in a cool way.
That's as disinteresting as, like, the Harry Potter laser beams, you know, and those fights.
Yeah. Well, because they're like... And also just like talking about like the actual like gear of itself and the way that things are designed it's all just like it's all really flat, and it almost feels like they're downplaying because you know like Star Wars, they fucking Leia's gun in the first bit with that long barrel and whatever. Yeah. It's like that's fucking cool. I don't know what it does. We never see it again, but it has character and it's real and we feel it and it's cool. Han Solo's gun, we're like. Everyone wants to have Han Solo's gun, you know. I don't give a shit about like her like sonic gun, especially for like based on like TV or based on action figures where like the main thing is like get the Baroness's sonic gun, special equipped with laser or whatever fucking thing. It's like it just kind of looks like a black piece of thing in her hand, and it just like it is boring as shit.
Yeah.
You know, like there's no character or everything is really flat. And not that things need to have like aging or whatever on them to make it feel, but it's like this sleek.
But it's important for this movie. This movie is about gear. It's about tech.
Yeah, and it's fails. Like the sleekness of this movie really undercuts any chance that it has of being visually interesting. And like this like
it just feels too much like TV set.
Yeah,
like Power Ranger TV sets.
It very much does.
And
it's like the antithesis of the the 2009 Star Trek movie that is also very sleek, but feels really fucking cool.
Yeah,
I love watching that movie.
Honestly, I'm a little salty towards J.J. Abrams.
I get that. That's
film,
reasonable.
But you know what? I'd like to see what he does with this universe. That'd be interesting.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
And also, there's so many boxes that he could have.
Yeah.
There's so many boxes. And I was going to say this, too. I was thinking about this, is I wonder if maybe the many sort of, like, iterations of G.I. Joe toys confused where they pulled from. And so they pulled from all the different sources rather than picking one and branching off.
Yeah. I don't know. I never found the Cobra stuff interesting myself, and I know I'm not representative of every little boy from the late 90s, early 2000s. So I don't know where they could have drawn from. You know, maybe
There's not
so
even-
this is G.I. Joe, and we open up in 1600s France.
Yeah.
Why did we not open in World War II with some setting, whatever? Or why didn't we open in Vietnam?
Yeah.
Some GI.
Or during the Cold War or something like that.
Where we see a U.S. GI do something, you know? And it could be something cheesy and something about the why the G.I. Joe started or something. Like, that would have done a lot more than an arms dealer from 1600 France.
Here we go.
It's so bizarre.
Here we go.
Like, that's one of my first notes is, this is G.I. Joe. This is G.I. Joe's blockbuster movie.
Yeah.
And they start off in medieval France.
Bro.
What is going on?
All right. Here, I got it. This is our new movie. We got we open. We've got, like, it's Tom Hanks or no, it's someone like
Tom Hanks on D-Day?
No, I'm trying to think of, like, someone who, or it's like Arnold Schwarzenegger or something who's, like, incredibly action hero-y. They're
it's Arnold Schwarzenegger and then
Sylvester Stallone. Like,
who's the guy that Tony looks like? Jason Statham.
Jason
Statham is a British guy. He's got the red beret.
Yeah.
He's like World War II soldier.
They're going hard. Maybe it's like a bunch. Maybe it's like World War II.
I mean,
anyway,
Captain America.
What I'm saying is it's like holy shit. This is a crazy, awesome opening
of international
action sequence
soldiers
of
in
a
World
bunch
War
of
II.
people doing their thing, and it's like the origin, and then, like, you pull out, and it's like a G.I. Joe produced, like, informational film or something like that for new recruits or some shit.
Well, I think, or better yet, you establish the feud, the 60, 50 year feud.
Yeah.
And you show the inception, like maybe someone's grandfather's killed, their son's killed, and they're upset, and that's what the Cobras are. Which is kind of what Hydra is.
Yeah, it's very much.
It's established in Captain America, and then it carries on all the way through.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's why it's coming to mind, because it's been done before, but it would have worked in this movie.
It would. I mean, it definitely. They didn't do themselves. I don't know. It's just like they didn't do that. They're all fucking over the place, bro. They didn't do themselves any favors by not making the focus the G.I. Joes.
They also wasted that Korean actor.
Yeah. I mean, I could say that they wasted
everyone.
A lot of people.
But I remember
that
I remember this was a big deal though for Korean U.S. cinema. Like that was like I don't know his name, but he's in a lot of things.
Huh.
Oh God, I Saw the Devil is one thing I think comes to mind that he's in.
Okay. That looks so fake. Yeah. We're in the Paris chase sequence now, and I just have to. Like,
I don't know. It's just like, say who's the biggest actor today?
I don't know who's the biggest actor today. Brad Pitt.
I mean, Brad Pitt's been big for a while, but say Brad Pitt like broke into
Chris Pratt.
Yeah, like,
let's say it's Chris Pratt.
Say Chris Pratt breaks into French film because French are picky.
But in this world,
this world works because the French are picky.
Yeah, that does work actually.
And they just squander him and
Yeah.
make him a fool and they waste him and play towards like cliches about him, like maybe make him like a super religious American zealot kind of alt-right person.
Yeah.
It's kind of what they didn't make this Korean guy alt-right, but that's like the example of.
But they just kind of like
Pratt.
were like, hey, you're Asian, you do kicking.
Basically like, yeah, here have samurai stuff.
Yeah,
even though that's Japan and you're Korean.
Yeah,
it's okay.
It doesn't matter. You're in American movies now. But it's this whole once they go through, and this is another thing
That's like another like my gripe where they just know the plan, they figure it out. They're like, oh, they must be going to the Eiffel Tower, of course. But they once this car blows up, then they have tracking beacons on the other two people, and I'm like,
this movie uses tracking a lot.
How do you have that? Whenever Duke fires through the thing at the end, and he blows up the end of their thing, and it's like,
well, I miss how he activated the tracking beacon when he ran away in the ice space.
It was just because he touched it, I guess.
Oh my god.
Yeah, well, whatever. It was cool. It was a great move. Good guy stuff.
Well, because I don't want.
Why would
I don't even want to talk about it. I'm not going to contextualize it.
Why would they just shoot him? I like a lot of times.
Well, because they wanted to torture him and make him into a super soldier, right?
They absolutely blew up this guy's head, and I think that's.
There's been a lot of like head blowing up in this.
Yeah, they blew up that Cobra soldier's head that I didn't notice that the first time I watched it.
I'm gonna look up what this is rated.
It's probably rated. Well, there's no blood really, except for on like the wounds, but you don't see any actual blood, so it's probably PG or PG-13, I'd say.
Let's see, PG-13.
I just can't believe.
So then that makes me think: is this made for teenage boys? But do teenage let's be conservative and say 13, 14-year-old boys are they playing with G.I. Joe dolls?
No,
they're
not buying toys.
So who is this for? Like I was messing around G.I. Joe. I don't know, between the ages of 7 and 11.
I think I had some of my mom's Barbies that she had G.I. Joes with or something like that. That were like real old and like I was not supposed to touch them because they were collectibles or vintage or something.
And you fucked with them anyways.
And I fucked with them anyways because they were in like an attic and it was like, of course, there's no one here to stop me. I'm going to play with these Barbies and G.I. Joes.
It's interesting because, like, I don't know, action figures. Do you you play with them, but then you have a market of people that just keep collecting?
I never liked the G.I. Joes. I'll just be completely honest. I never liked them because they were different sizes than the other action figures.
Well, they started making them action figures, and maybe that's where the Cobra stuff took off, is because they were more action figure-y instead of like doll. Because
I like to have my Mary. I remember I had like an action figure set of Lord of the Rings, and I like to have like my Mary and like my Aragon also interact with Power Rangers, and like it's like fucking here basically, we are doing all this stuff. Yeah, we're all doing this good stuff. We got to destroy the One Ring, and the One Ring is something that Skeletor has. Yeah, or whatever. I
miss playing with shit as a kid.
That's all. Hey, that's what movies are. It's just playing with shit.
Well, I think I had dinosaurs. I would take them all out and pretty much like recreate scenes from the movie Dinosaur Walking with I would basically be a David Attenborough and play with my dinosaurs and stuff like that.
I used to do that. We used to do that at the beach. I used to do that at the beach where I would pretend that I was like a seal.
Oh, I did that too.
That's some weird shit. I love it.
Yeah, I always play pretend as animals. Like I'd have a friend over and like, okay, we're gonna be dogs. I set up this like dog bed and like kind of area like bulls like. We're gonna be some dogs.
We're gonna be dogs, okay? And your friend's like, yeah, okay, because that's fucking kids, man. Yeah. That's what. Whenever my brother and me, we used to go to a hotel. If we went to the pool, we would be otters, and I don't know why we were otters, but at the ocean we were seals. We were in pools. We were at pools of the hotels. We were otters.
I definitely was either into kindergarten or first grade. And I got like half of the class to just play seals in the beach and the rocks.
Fuck yeah, dude!
And this one beach we went to, Colony Beach. It's Maine, so it's a rocky coast. Had it was like good soft sand, and then you had rocks, so you could like have these little alcoves just covered, like I don't know. It was really cool.
That's fucking cool guy stuff right there.
I know, it was pretty sick.
And the playground in elementary school again, just to kind of we essentially played like sort of like I didn't know at the time, but we played like Dungeons and Dragons / Super Saiyan. So we would have, I don't fucking know what we were doing, bro. But we would sort of play tag, but we also were like, I got you a fucking electricity, bro. And it's like you were making up spells and stuff, and like, oh, I went to level 5, and it's like, oh shit, dude, you made it to level 5. Yeah, I made it to level 5, and then it's like. Everyone just was like, yeah, he's level 5 now, so it's he's pretty strong. And it's like, oh man, I can't wait till I get to level 5.
Playing pretend is the fucking best.
But I can't. There was like the fucking everybody. It was like 2 weeks we did that. Eventually, kids started to fight about it.
There's always fads.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember I started started 2 playground fads.
Hell yeah, dude.
Pretty much. One of them was our playground had like a huge hill with grass, and we just run down and slide. And for some reason, the grass there was long enough. You could just fucking slide like it was snowing. And there was just like a week or 2 week period with all the kids would just go up to the corner of the hill and just run and slide down the hill.
Man.
And then the other one was we'd have these huge bouncy balls, like huge,
like the yoga ball kind of things.
Yeah, basically. And we would have one person with one holding around, and then you would pick up the smaller ball, but it's still big. And you'd run into each other, and you'd bounce the kid off the hill. And kids are just fucking ragdolling all over the place.
That's a great thing. That's the thing that's like, as kids, you're a lot more resilient. Yeah, and it's like if we were to do that now, it's like, oh my fucking hip, dude.
No, I was just skiing, and I still had this, like, it wasn't difficult in terms of like I wasn't like in pain, and like I wasn't sore for not having done it in a while, and I'm not an old man, but I'm late 20s is when it starts coming.
You still feel it sometimes.
Yeah, but the biggest thing was when I fell, I'd like hear a crunch. It's like, I mean, I feel fine. I am fine, but it's just like,
I see you right here. You look fine.
But it's just like, ooh, I probably can't take too many spills.
Yeah.
So that completely changed how it's just attacking the hill and changed my confidence, honestly, because I started the day just fucking bombing it, being awesome, skiing, and then after a spill, which I wasn't even skiing, I was fucking around doing. I like to do 360s, not off of jumps. That'd be cool, but I can spin in place on
like the ice.
Yeah,
or
it's
like
just like on ice skates you can do it, but I fell and crunch. Like,
dude, I cannot do ice skates. We're totally off the rails from G.I. Joe right now, but just because it's so fucking boring. Here's the thing. It's not. This is my review of it. We got reviews. We can get to it. I want to talk about ice skating real fast, but it's just not that much fun. It doesn't look cool. Ice skating
or the movie?
No, the movie. I'm just kind of like summarizing for like the way that I feel about it. It's just not that much fun.
I think it has a lot of potential, and it misses it, and that's frustrating.
Because it tries to be cool. I feel like it tries to be cool.
But do you think 13-year-old boys think it's cool?
I don't think so. Because it's not funny enough, and it's not goofy enough, or it's not like explodey enough.
Yeah.
And the explosions and the CGI does not look good.
No.
But dude, I cannot ice skate. I can't roller skate either because my friend, it's like, maybe it's like a beach kid thing or whatever, or maybe it's a me thing and it's like a confidence.
A beach kid.
But it's like my body is like, we're not supposed to be here. We're not supposed to move this way, guy. Don't do this. Even when I was in better shape, it was like,
I mean, I have that with dancing. Like I can't
dance either.
I can't move. No, it's not like I don't have this. I mean, I definitely don't have the skill, but like I just physically can't. Like I'm just so stiff. My body just like, no. Yeah. My body and mind are just like, no, you.
It's interesting to me because I play basketball and like I played baseball and you do footwork stuff and that, and it's like basketball is like there's like some dancey body control type stuff with that.
There's finesse to it.
There's finesse
and fluidity to your movements.
But it's like, I've tried for so long to try and like connect like dancing. I did theater and stuff, and they were like, "Hey, it's like it's like basketball. It's like baseball. You just move your feet this way," and it's like it just doesn't work. It doesn't work for me, guy. But yeah, I mean, I have fallen so many times on ice skating, and it's never good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. We had a pond where we were with freeze over in Maine, which was awesome. So I could do it whenever. But I think early, it was rollerblading, which helped. And you don't realize how much ice skating or rollerblading or roller skating has to do with skiing.
Yeah,
and I think that's helped.
It's just balance and being on your feet.
Yeah. What's so interesting, like for someone like my brother-in-law, it was only his second time, but his first time skiing, he had a hard time standing on skis, and to me that just blows my mind.
Yeah,
'cause I can stand on a ski, I can move and maneuver and pivot, I can skate or like shuffle around.
Yeah,
it's just I don't know, it's interesting.
It's just I think it's one of those things that's like comfortability as well.
Yeah. I mean, people on snowboards, I look at them like, how do you do that?
I snowboarded. I told you, but it's like I snowboarded for a while. For a while there, from like 8 to 12, I'd go skiing and or snowboarding every winter we would go. Just take one trip.
Yeah.
But it's like just having that repetition, having that familiarity with it. I was like,
all right, yeah, I could do this. And then like I took a little break, and then I went back when I was like 15, and I tried to snowboard again, and oh my God, I busted my ass so much. We were there for like 4 days. I was like, I'm gonna snowboard. I tried for 2 days. This guy was like, let me get skis. I can't do this, man.
That's a tough one. We're all talking because it's about childhood, and the G.I. Joe is a childhood toy product, and it'll be the last I touch on it. But it's like so many people gravitate towards snowboarding because it's cool.
Yeah.
And it's such a weird thing. It's like hones back to the like radical 80s skate kind of mania, and where skiing is like the old like boomer thing.
Oh, you're here snowboarding?
I mean, it's even like I have friends I snowboard with who still outlook at skiing like a snooty thing.
Yeah.
And have to like they deal with snooty skiers, and it's because I mean I get it. Snowboarders are annoying. They sit in the middle of the chairlift unloading area.
There could only be like one of them on there.
They carve out the slope.
Yeah.
Like if it's icy, it's probably because a snowboarder just didn't even snowboard. They were doing the toe heel style
because they're not good at it.
Yeah,
like me, as I did all the time.
Shaving the fucking slope of any powder it has, which sucks, especially in the South where you don't have actual fresh powder. So how about some reviews of G.I. Joe?
You heard it here first, guys. John Gilardi fucking hates snowboarders. Here, let me put up these reviews. I got some reviews this time. Here's a 3-star review. As a fan of G.I. Joe when I was young, I quite enjoyed this film. Yes, some parts were cheesy and lame, but I thoroughly enjoyed some of the action and fighting scenes in this film. Would I watch again? Probably not. I do recommend everyone give it a watch. 3 out of 5.
It's like that review is fine and fair, but this movie does not deserve even that.
Yeah, I don't think. I think that it's.
I'm glad they felt that way.
I think it's telling though that they were like, "Would I watch it again?" Probably not.
Yeah.
But I don't think that everyone should give it a watch.
No,
I don't think that everyone should give it a watch.
I disagree with that.
No offense to anybody who worked really hard on this film, and I know there's a lot of people who worked really hard on it. But no, I don't think that.
You don't need 5 flashbacks in a movie.
Here's 2.5 stars. It was okay, but way too much of a deviation from the source material. I mean, it's G.I. Joe, a real American hero. Not G.I. Joe, a real U.S., Cambodian, Chinese, Korean, British, Japanese, and everything else hero. Also, WTF. Ooh, maybe I shouldn't say this. What is this? I'm going to say this. I don't think this. Or I don't know what this means. Also, WTF, stop blacking ginger characters in both aspects, as Ripcord should be a redhead, and Scarlet isn't supposed to have a romance with Ripcord. It's either Duke or Snake Eyes only. Is that racist?
I mean, before you even got to that, I was like, I think I know who they voted for. So it wasn't even just the accent you did.
Yeah,
but it just seems like a MAGA person from Indiana or something.
Stop blacking ginger characters.
Despite, I don't even like. I do, in terms of the source material kind of thing, I agree.
Everything else
that.
is like, oh. I think there's a precedent in G.I. Joe.
I like the international team aspect. I don't think that needs to change, but I think G.I. Joe, the real American hero, you know, just fucking double down on Channing Tatum being this like American
make him
guy.
Or what if this, and this is not me just jumping off. Yeah. It's like, what if, G.I. Joe, instead of being the organization, like G.I. Joe is really cool, and then like once in a while, there's the G.I. Joe.
Yeah, maybe
and he's
it's
like
a
the
mantle.
chosen one.
Yeah, it's like
or whatever.
It's a mantle.
Yeah.
And the organization is actually called something else.
Yeah. Here's a 0.5-star review. They had a huge story arc that they could use to make a long movie franchise of, but decided to rewrite it into something that gave off the feeling of rushed, simply thrown together without thought, while hoping that the audience would be amazed by some futuristic tech, martial art, and explosions to be able to notice. The actors are way too stiff and generic to fit the roles that they have been given.
I think the review hits on it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call that a good review, but they weren't wrong.
Yeah. 2-star review. Complete cheese. The actors sleepwalked through their admittedly ridiculous roles. Rachel Nichols is the only bright spot. Which one's Rachel Nichols? Is she the?
I don't know.
Is she
but
Scarlet?
Neither of them were really great.
Oh, Rachel Nichols. Yeah, she's Scarlet.
I think she did.
I think they did really good with what they were given.
Yeah, I don't think there was really a weak. I think all the actors are pretty much. They're all talented, and I think they did what they could. I mean, the blonde girl notwithstanding, and she wasn't a main actor, like a main character, so they weren't going to give it to a high-profile, talented person.
Yeah, I mean, she was like. She was in it. It was definitely like she did stand out, kind of like the guy.
She didn't even like exist well.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. She was supposed to be just in the room, but she was very distracting and stiff.
Yeah.
And I don't know why.
She was like, they were like, all right, stand here.
And my eye was always drawn towards her.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I mean, she's a pretty woman, but there's tons of good-looking people in this movie. But I don't know why.
Well, there's also a pretty interesting thing where it's like she definitely didn't do her job as a featured extra because she stole focus. And it's like, as a featured extra, it's one of those is like, all right, stand here. And then it's like, you're like watching the screen back and you're like, don't stand that way. Why would you just stand there and do nothing? Because that's a lot of times in the background, she's like just standing there. And
maybe
she's
that's
just
why
waiting.
she sticks out.
Yeah, because she's not doing anything, and she's definitely paying attention to what's happening rather than doing her job.
Yeah,
as like his secretary or whatever, taking notes or
adjutant. I think.
Yeah, attaché. That's not right.
Attaché is like someone attached.
Okay.
So not permanent.
Okay.
I don't know.
Here's a 3-star review. This action movie was great. Channing Tatum, Marlon Wayans, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Dennis Quaid, and the rest of the cast did a great job in this movie. The plot of the movie was action-packed, funny, and thrilling. The fight scenes were pretty cool as well. I would recommend this movie to others who haven't seen it. It's worth it. Don't listen to the critics or the people that said this movie was terrible. They don't see why this is a great movie. That's a 3-star review.
Hey, this guy seems pretty cheeky.
Yeah. I
don't know if I have a different definite. I don't really know what the definition of cheeky is. I guess
this is my favorite review, and I think that this is true.
All right.
This is 2.5-star review. I was never really bored, but I was only slightly entertained.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
I would say I was always almost bored.
Yeah.
And I was never almost entertained.
Yeah.
I don't even know if that makes sense. But.
I was almost always bored.
Yeah.
I was almost never entertained.
Yeah. G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe. Rise of Cobra. Oh, this is my favorite part in the movie. She's watching him get fucking
just beat
up, and she's like, I love him.
Never mind that she's beat him up and already an accomplice and so much negative shit towards Channing Tatum. But when she sees him get beat up by this big bad, she's like, to me, I was like, wait, what the fuck just happened? Did I miss something?
Yeah, does she love him? What the fuck? And
that's only when you really learn that, she's being controlled somehow.
Oh, yeah. Well, I didn't even get that until later.
Yeah, just the little fidgety things behind the ear.
Here's another review. 2-star review. Exactly what you would expect. Lots of CGI, gadgets, gunplay, sword fights, explosions, and chases. The plot and acting were really only secondary vehicles to show all the effects. A truly mindless movie.
And I wouldn't say the effects were that good. So.
I wouldn't say the effects were that good.
The Eiffel Tower thing was good in terms of spectacle. Like, oh shit.
Yeah.
That's what it would look like if the Eiffel Tower fell down, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
When I would say that it looked awful once it was down on the street and the cars were getting eaten by the nanomites, that looked really bad.
Yeah. Or in the tank during that demo.
Yeah.
It was just such a clean removing of compartments of the tank.
I liked the tank.
I think it worked, but I could see through the special, like the modeling. Like, they're like, okay, we got to dissolve this component of the model. And,
here's another succinct 3-star review. Not a horrible adaptation. I'm trying to find a good review.
Would I even consider this an adaptation?
I don't know.
I think it's just working with source material.
Here's a 3.5-star review. This is probably the best one that I've pulled. G.I. Joe is a terrible movie, but it's so terrible that I enjoyed nearly every minute of it. It's one of those entertaining bad movies I put on with The Room and Dungeons & Dragons as entertainingly bad movies.
Wait, there's a Dungeons & Dragons movie?
Yeah, dude.
Oh.
And it's like starring Jeremy Irons or something like that.
I'd be down to watch that.
Yeah, I watched the shit out of that.
Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it.
You haven't?
I haven't seen it.
Okay.
If you enjoy it like that or just want a movie to riff on, MSTK T3K, what is that? Movie Science Theater?
Maybe. I don't know. Mystery
Science Theater? Mystery Science Theater 3000. This won't disappoint.
Well,
but what do you give it, John?
I gave it 2 out of 5. It doesn't deserve a 1, but it doesn't. I've been talking about it. I don't know. I don't feel strongly about this movie, but I don't like it.
Yeah.
So it's got a 2 out of 5.
I'm gonna give it 1.5 stars. A half star each for Brendan Fraser, Channing Tatum, and Marlon Wayans.
No Joseph Gordon-Levitt love?
No, I mean I love him. I think he's great, but I think he knows why.
Yeah.
I don't begrudge him the paycheck or having a good time on set or whatever he was doing.
But he
Yep, that's it. So,
I guess in terms of what I've been watching,
what have you been watching?
Besides this, the only thing I've watched since was Yojimbo, I believe.
Yojimbo, what's that?
I might be butchering it. It's an Akira
Kurosawa
film. Yojimbo. It's just a, lone Ronin comes into city and does his thing, thing with weird stuff at play. I really liked it. I'd never seen a Kurosawa film, and I just picked that one.
Hell yeah,
because I liked the cover art. I guess that's all I had to go up. I was like, I'm gonna watch his movies because I think I should as a student and lover of film.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll just go with this one, and I really liked it. It's so nice to watch older movies. I pay so much more attention to them.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I'll tell you why. Is because their shot length is longer.
Mm.
So these shots, if you count it, it's like 7 seconds or something like that is the average amount of time that we have on a shot.
Yeah. And
in movies that go back further, it's the longer the shot gets. So it forces you to pay attention. The same way like that you sit in a theater, it's like you have to pay attention. And like as you're just there looking at the people on stage, you can flit around and look at the stuff in there, but the shot is composed in a way it's interesting enough for you. But that's the thing with this is like we couldn't do all this in a wide because we would reveal that it's all a set and look stupid. So we've got to have these moving shots where we cut.
And also
1,
more
2,
focus
3,
is less
4.
special effects.
Yeah, exactly.
In post.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, going off of that, like I said, like watching old movies, like a bunch of old Hitchcock.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I love watching it. And I also like watching it because it's, especially movies that are contemporary in their time, it's like it's a time capsule.
Yeah.
So it also fascinates me in that way.
It's also just interesting because with less shots, every shot has more importance. It's one of the reasons in like movies where it's like the shot becomes a part of it and like is telling a part of the story.
Yeah.
Rather than like this where it's like, oh, coverage wide. Oh, flashback.
Yeah, it's all shot for the edit.
Yeah, it's shot. Yeah, and that's what it is. It's a shot for the edit, so they can churn it out fast, and so that they only have to put the prosthetics on Joseph Gordon-Levitt for half a day instead of having it on him for the whole day.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, yeah, it's. I mean, listen, I love a longer shot.
Speaking of long, our longest SPB is talking about G.I. Joe's.
Oh, no.
We officially hit that territory. What have you been watching?
I finished watching His Dark Materials, and I watched some basketball. I really liked His Dark Materials. I really think it's been a long time since I've read the books, but I think that it's a pretty good adaptation.
Maybe I'll consider looking at that as for audiobook.
Yeah, their books are really good.
Is there a lot of them?
There's just 3.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I'll do that.
There's just 3 books. They're really, I really like them. I really liked them. I haven't read them. I might read them again.
Nice. Yeah, maybe I'll do the audiobooks. I'm working through a couple right now, but
Hell
maybe I'll
yeah,
do that next.
Stephen King's a really good writer.
Yeah. He's from Maine. I've been by his house.
Oh my gosh.
I've been to his baseball field.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That motherfucker loves him some baseball.
His house overlooks a youth baseball field. Stadium, actually, not field, stadium that he built.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's probably time for us to sort of wrap it up as we've meandered through, avoiding talking about G.I. Joe, Rise of Cobra.
But next week, let's
week,
do The Mummy. Maybe both Mummy films. Maybe just the first. We'll see how we feel.
We'll see how it goes. There's also actually 3 Mummy films.
I'd be down to maybe do the first 2 combined because they're both cool classics.
Yeah, and they're both good. The third one is
then do the third one in its own.
Because that's a money grab right there.
So maybe it changes, but maybe we have this episode you've listened to, Mummy 1 and 2 as one episode, G.I. Joe Retaliation,
and then
we'll finish it up with the Mummy 3.
Or we'll change it up and do something else too along the way.
We'll see.
Well, as they say in Paris, oh no, the Eiffel Tower is falling on me. Baguette.